Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, what's up, y'all? This your boy Mad Scientist, and I am here with you today. Uh, Tonight for some people, but today. And let me let you know. Well, let me just go ahead and start the show. Hey, what's up? This Mad Scientist on an all new Power 97.5 LA. Today we are just talking music, where we bring you the vital information about music production, promotion, and distribution every week right here on the Odyssey Radio app. That's right. Sounded good. All right, just so you guys know, some of you guys are watching me on one of my live platforms, while others are listening to me on Power 97.5 LA radio station. Yes, this is a simulcast. This is every Saturday. So, wherever you're at, I hope you enjoy the show and I hope you enjoy the information. What I try to do is give people information, not from the how to point of view, because I think you have enough people telling you how to do things, but more from the point of view of why. Okay. And the reason why I feel like I'm qualified to do that is because I am literally a working DJ. I'm somebody who is actively DJing in nightclubs out here in Long Beach, California. I'm someone who is actively producing music. I'm someone who is actively on the radio every day. So this is not from a theoretical point of view. This is not information that I get from books that I've read, although I have read books. I read a lot of books. Um, this comes from taking the education I have out to the real world, using it, and then coming back to you guys and reporting, my findings, so that hopefully you're able to um, you're able to use the information, knowing that okay, this is something I can really do. This is information I can really use in order to move forward in your music career. Okay. I pretty much like to talk to artists, producers, DJs, and also people who are professionals in various aspects of production, and promotion, including mix engineers, recording engineers, mastering engineers, composers, people that you're not going to see, in the front, but they're in the back, other producers, vocal producers, and then people, who people who work in promotion, whether it's radio promotion, um, 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 DJ, nightclub promotions, record pool promotions, whether you're at the college level or at the, professional level, I like to have discussions with those kind of people. So, um, I and secondly, what I like to do is break up two of the four P's in marketing. Okay. For those who don't know, let me give you some background. There's four P's of marketing. There's product, promotion, place, and price. Right? Those are called four P's of marketing. Um, Place is just another word for distribution. Okay. And as I always say, I don't deal with price because pretty much price is pretty much locked in for now. Okay. Things might change in the future. But right now, price is pretty locked in. People are going to go to Spotify, Apple Music. They're going to pay their subscription. And there's nothing an artist or a producer can do to change that subscription. Or people are going to go to iTunes. And there's nothing that we can do to change that. Okay. Now, in the future, there's a lot of people who feel like when direct to consumer starts to happen, prices may change because not because people are willing to pay more for music, but music has for a while been coupled with an experience. So you may pay, you may not want to pay $1 or $10 for one song, But if you buy the album, let's say you pay $100, but that $100 includes tickets to a show or tickets to a meet and greet, then you'll pay. I mean, they're called bundles now, right? But the artist may say, okay, buy this plus the music and it'll cost that. Buy a t-shirt plus the music and it'll cost that. Buy, you know, I don't know, buy a coffee cup and the music, it'll cost you this. Okay. So that way you get the coffee cup and then you get the music and then you're good to go. Okay. So yeah, that's where I think the future of music is going, but it hasn't fully gotten there yet. So we're just gonna focus on production and promotion. Okay. So for the last 4 weeks, for the last since last week and continuing on for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking about AI and how artificial intelligence can be a tool that is used um, in production. Now, as I said last week, so if you haven't, go back to last week's show so you can hear what I had to say. I gave a general overview of my feelings on it. Um, I gave a very detailed overview. But just to kind of recap, I said that I would be using 90% AI and 10%, traditional production. I also said that if you are a mix engineer, like that is your thing to do, you're probably not going to have that kind of mix. Okay. At the same time, once I get to the level I want to be, I will not do any mix. I'm going to send my music. I'm going to compose my music. I'm going to record the music, and then I'm going to send it to a mix engineer and to a mastering engineer. So I'm talking to people who are in the do-it-yourself space. You know, don't really have the budgets. I don't know how much uh, Tezio costs, but I'm assuming right now that I can't pay him to do a mix, then pay someone else to do the mastering and make my money back. Okay. I'm assuming that. Now, if it comes out that, Tezio's like $100 per song, okay, I'm gonna go use him, right? Because I can make that back. But I'm assuming that, his services are way more than $100. Okay. Um, or I'll use Mixed by Ali, and I know Mixed by Ali does not charge $100. Okay, it'll be one of those guys. So because I can't pay them to mix my song and then make that money back, I could probably make it back in maybe 3 years, but I couldn't make it back in like 6 months. Um, I'm going to use artificial intelligence, 90%, and then I'm going to throw in my own experience, my own expertise in mixing. Because I am educated in mixing. It's just um here's what I here's why I decided. And I'm recapping for those who um maybe didn't hear um or see the video or hear the station last week. I said that the reason why I would not be mixing my own records and I would be relying on artificial intelligence is because of the skill that of these videos, most of the YouTube educators don't talk about. They will tell you how to use a compressor. And that's what you asked them for anyway, by the way. You asked them how to use a compressor. Okay. Um, but what they don't teach you is how to hear. They don't teach you the ear training. And I tell people all the time that is the difference between a person who is skilled in any or music craft and people who are not. It's their ear. That's the secret sauce. I know a lot of people want to give you other secret sauces, but really ain't it. The secret sauce is, can you hear? Can you hear what you want to be done? And if you don't have a good ear, it doesn't matter. Like I DJ. If you don't have a good ear in DJing, you're not going to be able to be a good DJ because you won't be able to hear good mixes and if they go together or not. Sorry, that's what it comes down to. And that ear requires a lot of years of training. Requires a lot of years of ear training. Same thing with mix engineering. It requires a lot of years of ear training to be a very good mix engineer. Just hearing resonant frequencies requires a good ear. Okay. Yeah. And you can get a resonance suppression tool all you want, but that resonant suppression tool, I can tell you because I've used them, they don't always get it right. They'll take out what they think is resonant uh frequencies, but that doesn't mean that. And sometimes I've had to like, no, don't suppress that because I can hear it. It changes the sound. Okay. So having a good ear is vital to your success. And that requires ear training. And the fact of the matter is, like I said last week, I don't want to train my ears for mixing. I don't want to train my ears for mastering. These ears and these eyes are trained for DJing and for composition. That's it. And that's the reason, that's the rationale. And that is the secret sauce. If you do decide to become a mix engineer, you can learn how to use a compressor, you can learn how to use an EQ, you can learn how to use saturation plugins. All those things can be used to give you loudness. Yes. But the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself is to train your ear. Same thing with mastering, same thing with composition, same thing with being an artist. If an artist does not have an ear to hear what they want to say or hear what they want to sing, they can't hear it, then it's very hard. Like they can't hear the beat, you know, and they can't coordinate what they hear with their mouth. I don't know how it doesn't click, but I hear a lot of rappers who are offbeat, singers that are out of tune. And unless they can hear that and correct that, then the probability of them being successful is very small. That's the reality. So I would say the same thing out of respect to um, those who are mix engineers. They have good ears and they train their ears. And no amount of YouTube plugin tutorials are ever going to beat them. You can look at every tutorial you want, but if you can't hear it, then it's not going to happen. Now, I've said that about ear training. Artificial intelligence, um, what it does is it creates profiles based upon what the creators say is normal sounding music. But then you have to question, well, who are the creators and what do they consider normal sounding music? Okay. So that's why you can't, would I do 100%? No, because hip hop is so broad. It's not just one sound. From region to region, there's different sounds, there's different expectations. So that's going to affect, you know, compression, that's going to affect equalization, that's going to affect saturation, and that's going to affect balance between vocals and the beat. Um, there's so many things you got to think about, and then is it a club beat or is it, just a traditional hip hop beat? Is it trap? These are all things that you got to ask. But what AI, and specifically, I'm talking about the Isotope tools that I'm going to introduce to you, they provide you a starting point. Okay. And typically, their starting points are really, really close. Like I've used it and I could pretty much tell you the Isotope starting points are really, really close. Okay. And that's where my 10% experience and judgment comes in and says, okay, now we're going to do this. So, an example that I use is I like the sound of the SSL channel strips. I like the sound of it. I don't use the compressor and I don't use the EQ and I don't use the gate. I just like to send it through because it adds saturation at a certain point. And that point, I think it starts to add saturation at -6 dB, and you got to go. You can go -6 dB and louder. You know, I like to keep my gain structure at -6 dB. Um, so it adds saturation, and saturation is something that you have to add in stages. You can't just add it at the end, like da-da. No, it has to be added in stages. Just like compression is added in stages. Just like EQ is added in stages. Okay. So when you're going from the track level, when you're going to the group level, when you're going to the pre mix level, and then you're going into the mix level. Okay. So there's stages that you got to add, um, compression, EQ, saturation. Mixing is not that difficult. It's just, like I'll give you another example about hearing. Right now, I'm getting into designing my own kicks. The reason why I'm designing my own kicks is because I need my mixes to be loud. Loud. I am a producer that makes club beats, and club beats have to be loud and bassy. Okay, I can't have phasing in my kick and in my 808. So, in order to totally eradicate any sort of phasing at all, I have learned how to create my own kick. Um, and my own 808. I've learned how to design it, right? But in order to do that, I had to know what a kick sounds like in hip hop. A kick is essentially a very short, um, a very short, um, I can't even think of it. It's a sine wave, very short sine wave. Okay. Going from, I think C5, somewhere around 500 hertz down to like 32 hertz. Okay. Very quickly. Okay. And you have to know how to make that sound. Okay. How to create that kick sound. And there's a lot of money being made from people who want to sell kicks. Okay. And they want to sell 808s. And in order for them to make that kick in 808 sound good, they've got to do things to it, specifically clipping, which changes the curve, the sine curve. So that kick is not that sine turns into kind of like a a combination of a sine and square. Once that happens, it's hard to combine that with an 808. It's going to be out of phase. You're going to get all kind of crazy looking, um, and you could see when something's out of phase. You could see And what happens is a lot of times you'll get 808s and kicks where you'll get like a woo woo, woo, right? Because it's like kicking and then woo, woo, whoa, where the sound will go down because it's phasing and then it'll come back up. So you get that whoa, 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 whoa. And you'll get that. Or you get designs where, you know, um, you get a rolling 808. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So, but they gotta sell the kicks. They gotta sell their one shots. I get it. I'm not against that. I'm just saying that I know better, so I'm not gonna buy them. But that requires me to make my own. I gotta know what it sounds like in the club, right? I gotta know what that sounds like. That comes from hearing. It doesn't come from there's no books out there. Trust me, I've looked, and me learning how to make my own kick has been a process. It's still an ongoing process, and I'm getting better and better at it because I'm waiting for this perfect sound, right? But I got to know what it sounds like. I got to know what that perfect sound that I hear in my head sounds like, and that requires ear training. So I know I'm spending a lot of time on ear training and not getting into this RX-11, but it's for a reason. I don't give you the how to. Like, I'm not gonna show you how to use the RX-11. I'm gonna pull it up, but I'm gonna show you the why. And I'm telling you the reason why you want to use AI, because AI does give you a starting point. Um, but then you got to have some kind of ear training in order to get you over the hump. At least at the minimum, know like, okay, nah, that's not hip hop. Okay. Or if you're listening to me and you're in another genre, you got to know what your genre sounds like. So when it says, hey, this is how a rock kick should sound, or this is how a rock drum set should sound, you got to at least know, like, I don't know, I don't think it sounds like that. Or yeah, it sounds exactly like that. Or most of the time you're gonna say, close enough. Okay. Um, so that's what the ear training situation is all about. All right, let's get into this screen share. Um, for those who are listening on the radio, sorry, you really do need. I mean, listen to me on the radio, but you can also go to my YouTube channel, Mad Scientist, MADD Scientist, um, and you can find me on YouTube, and in that way you can actually see. The hearing part doesn't matter because I'm not going to demonstrate it, right? But you can at least look and see. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is just show you this is what the app looks like. Okay. And the RX-11 is a audio correction software. Okay. It's an application software. And the purpose of this is to fix the audio that you put into it. Now, fix is relative to the audio that you're listening to. Okay. Now, I will tell you why, how, and why I use it. Okay. But before I go into that, let me tell you what you can do. Okay. You can um, correct breath control, de-bleed. Like if you have live drums and you want to de-bleed stuff, de-click, de-clip. Okay. Like if you clip the audio, de-crackle, DS. So if you want to DS anything, vocals, I guess not anything, but if you want to DS some vocals, you can do it in this and AI will do it for you. Okay. That way you don't have to use a de-esser. Or let's say you get vocals and every time you use a plugin and it's static, like it's always, then you affect more than just the one thing you want to affect. So let's say you get a two track and some vocals, and you put them together. Putting a de-esser may affect. I don't know. I don't think it will, but let's just say hypothetically, it could affect the two track depending on your setup. All right, you de-ess it in this. Okay. I know that's like a weird example, but just the point is you can de-ess in here. You can de-hum. Okay. I wouldn't use DS in here. You can de-hum. Deplosive. Okay. Deplosive I would use. And a lot of times people do it by hand, which takes a lot of time. They generally do that by hand. That's what editors will do. Or if you have a mix engineer, their assistant will do the deplosives. It takes a lot of time. And again, you got to hear it. But you, as me, as just a regular person who hey, I got this done. I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to deplosive these vocals. Let me just go ahead and put it through AI. Okay. De-reverb. Um, you may get some vocals from someone and you want to take the reverb out for whatever reason. It doesn't matter why, but you may want to take the reverb out. That's something that I use. Dialogue isolate. This is great because, and the de-reverb is another one, but these two are great because a lot of times we are recording our vocals at home in a space. And now I have very high ceilings and I don't record to a wall. But sometimes you don't have that option. So you hear the reverberation. And where I record, it's very hard to get reverb because I have very high ceilings and I have a I mean, it would take a long time for that stuff to come back to the microphone. But I still send my dialogue, my vocals through the de-reverb and dialogue isolate. Okay. Now you can actually do that with compression. A mix engineer might do that with compression. Um, Again, these ears are for DJing. They're not for taking out reverb from vocals, and that is an expertise. Okay. Uh, Guitar denoise, interpolate. I don't even know what that means, but you could look it up. I don't use it. Mouth declick, I use that. Music rebalance, don't use that. Spectral denoise, spectral repair, no. Voice denoise, and you could take out noise. The noise is okay. I wouldn't go extreme because, again, AI doesn't really understand what noise is and what the vocals are, right? So I wouldn't use it hard, just a little bit. The ones that I usually use are declick, um, deplosives, um, dialogue isolate, de-reverb, mouth declick, and that usually gets it cleaned up pretty quick. Okay, and and again, I'm not going to go into this is how you do it. I'm more focused on the why. Okay, and I think that's important to understand why, um, because again, I do feel like a lot of DJs and a lot of hip hop artists, a lot of producers spend too much time, and I've been guilty of this too. We spend a lot of time um, searching for perfection. You know, the producer that I look up to is Dr. Dre. There's some other ones too, Pharrell. Um, I like Q-Tip. Okay. Um, but there's a lot of producers out there that I like. And a lot of times when you're trying to make these beats, you think you're competing with that producer, right? Like, okay, that producer is fire. And you listen to the finished song and you're trying to compare your music to that finished song that that producer has worked on. And you have this vision in your head that they did all of that. And the reality is they did not. Okay. A lot of times the producers will make the beat, and then you have a different person who's doing the mix. A lot of times the people who make the beats, they're just making the beats. And then you have a main producer that the artist trusts, and that producer will then say, okay, thank you, composer or beat maker. Now I'm going to produce it and make it a record. Then that person then hands it off to someone who's a mixer. And that mixer says, thank you, producer. Now I'm going to make it sound like a record. And then that mix engineer then takes it and gives it to the mastering engineer. And the mastering engineer makes it super hella loud. Okay. Does a little tweaking here and there, labels it as a record, and boom. So you're not competing with that producer that you really like. You're competing with four people and their assistants. Okay. And these guys are experts and they have an expertise. That's who you're competing with. And so I'm hoping that by you listening and understanding these conversations that I'm having with you, um, that you begin to say, okay, let me get out of my way. Let me go ahead and just release it. Release the music. Release the hounds. Right. In my case, put it together and then go ahead, take it, because that way you can focus on what you do, which is, hey, do y'all like this? And you find out if people like it. You find out it sounds good, doesn't sound good, doesn't work well, doesn't do well. You find all that stuff out, and now you become an expert at that, as opposed to, you know, being a mediocre mixer or being a mediocre master. And it's a hard lesson to learn. I mean, I've had to learn this lesson myself. I've had to, and I spend hours and hours and hours, and it always comes back to the same thing. Like, man, just keep it simple. Mad scientists, keep it simple. I'll tell you, I wanted to create a new process for how I um, put together, how I mix my kick and 808. And I was like, I can put together this new process and it's going to be way better. And I spent hours trying to figure it out, hours and weeks, because it's December and it's what I like to do during the December. Like, I'm not doing anything. Let me see if I can tweak my whole process. I can say this year was a failure, not because I didn't, not because I tried. I think you have to always try, but it was a failure in that it was actually a good thing. In that my process, the way I have it, is fine. I don't need to tweak it. There's nothing new that I need to do. I'm good. Now, that's not to say that next year, 2025, I might not learn something new. And I may take, you know, at the end of the year to try that something new. But for right now, my process is good. So um, I'm not trying to discourage people from trying new things. I think trying new things is a good thing. And trying new things is a positive thing. But we have to ask ourselves a very important question. What are you good at? What can you do? What do you love to do? And once you figure that out, then just go ahead and do it. Okay. Um, I'm not going to give any examples on the RX-11. I know it's so disappointing. Okay. But primarily because hold on for a second. Let me see. I don't want to get any strikes. I ain't gonna even hold you. For the radio, be fine, but for YouTube, okay. And like I said, this is not a how to. I'm kind of wondering because I already have some vocals in here, and I'm kind of wondering if I could or not. I'm not even sure if I'm set up to. Let me see, share audio, share entire screen. It's not even set up so that I can share the audio. It won't allow it. Oh well. Um, okay, so I want to say that that is that is it for the RX-11. And well, let me share as I'm looking at it because I want to make sure there are some other things that you can do: dither, EQ, fade, gain. Um, let's now stop sharing that. And I want to, I know those on the radio are like, did here. No, I want to go to Isotopes RX-11, Advanced. Um, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show the product without the price. And because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to sell the product, because they'll learn more. Okay, yeah, I want to show the one without the price because I don't want people to feel like I am selling this because I'm not. Okay, they're not giving me any money to, and I have no interest in doing it. No, Chrome tab. Okay. All right. So this is the RX-11. Now it does come in a bundle. I will tell you this. So if you go here and you're like, okay, it does come in a bundle. Get the bundle. If you're gonna buy it, get the bundle. Don't get the standalone. Okay. It's the definitive toolkit for audio repair. You can do a 10-day free trial. So if you just want to try it and see what it looks like, see if you like it, I would say go ahead. Um, it's good for post-production, music production, content creation. Okay, you can clean up dialogue in real time, you know, brush up audio in seconds. For the ones who can see this on YouTube, I'm circling around. This is the plugin. The plugin looks different than the desktop, and that's the plugin I use. And let me see if this picture no, it won't let me see the picture. But it generally will listen to the audio and then I can clean it up, you know, and pretty quick. It works really quick and very, very easy. And it doesn't take a lot of latency. What's the latency of the RX-11? What is the latent for the RX11? According to AI, it's the Isotope RX11 is considered low in latency, but it's not zero. It's not zero latency. It's low, but not zero. So this will be something that you use not like while you're bouncing down, like clean the vocals and then create a clean vocal file, and then okay, take that RX11 off so you don't have to use it with your other plugins. That's how I use it. Okay. Um, and then they have different editions. Um, and like I said, I don't want to show the price because um, I'm not interested in trying to sell it. It's for Mac or for Windows, and it's a VST3. Okay, it's so it'll work on everything. I use Cubase 13. Um, it will. You can use it on Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton, Studio One, FL Studio. So you can use it on all the major platforms, no problem. And like I said, it's mainly to like clean up your vocals, so that stop screen. Okay. No, I stopped sharing the screen because like I said, for the ones on YouTube, I stopped sharing the screen because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm selling the product and I'm not. You know, you might be asking, well, why would you even bring it up? Because right now they have a whole package for all the major AI. They're not the only AI tools. There are other ones, but it's like it's AI, right? So if it's AI and it's getting it correct, then it's correct, right? So does it matter what brand? There are some other brands that are more popular, like Soothe is AI um, resonance suppression. Okay. But then all Soothe does is that one thing, whereas you can go get this isotope package and you're going to spend maybe a little bit more for more tools, for more AI tools. Okay. I think in the package you get the mastering, the one for mixing, and the one for vocals, and then the RX11, which is for repair. And we're next week we're gonna go over the the Neutron. Neutron is for mixing, and use that for mixing. Just to kind of give you a preview, I use the Neutron for my EQ for sure. Compression, I'm still debating. I got 2 more weeks to make a final decision if I'm gonna use it for compression, okay? But I definitely use it for EQing. The reason why is because my ears, again, ear training is so important. Don't wanna train my ears. Like, I know the EQ, um, spectrum, the basics, all you mud and boxy and okay, I know that, right? De-essing, harsh. I can do it on a generic, general basis, but then there are some resonance buildup that I'm not going to spend my time trying to ear train to get that. So definitely for EQ and for resonance suppression. I'm still debating. The reason why I'm debating on compression is because the compressors that I like to use, which is the API. I like it because it's so easy to use, right? You can't get the API wrong. And it's very transparent, but you can also set it up to give you some saturation. And I like to saturate at every stage, except for EQ. EQ saturate, like, what's the point? Right. But I like to saturate at the track level with various plugins. I like to saturate at the group level with various plugins. And I like to then I set up two levels of mix, total mixing. Because I have a DJ channel, or if I have to do DJ effects or DJ moves, then I will still saturate on that level. And then I have my pre-mix where I have all of my, mastering stuff. Not really mastering, but I'll put like a NLS on there, a glue compressor, SSL glue compression or bus compression, um, more saturation, and then clipping, and then limiting, light limiting, right? Not the final mastering limiter, just the regular limiter, right? I'll use the L1 because I'm just trying to do the beat. I have another process where I put the vocals on a 2-track and then do the final mastering at the third level. Like that's how I split mine up. Only because um it's just how my process goes. Okay. It allows me to kind of narrow my focus. So when I'm dealing with vocals, I'm just dealing with vocals. And I don't have to worry about too many plugins and too many processes. Like I already know the beat is fine the way I like it. I don't want to focus on the beat. I just want to focus on the vocals. And then once I get to the mastering, I know that vocals and the beat are fine. Go ahead, Ozone 11, do your thing. I totally like sell out on that one. I ain't gonna lie. Like I just let it do its thing. It sound good. I know what all the stuff does, so I can tweak it a little bit. Some of the things I don't agree with, but it'll be like little things like I'll take out. Like I don't like too much upward compression. I just don't like upward compression. So I take out the upward compression. I just don't like it. And I may look at what it's doing with the transients, because I mean, again, it's basing it on what it thinks hip hop should sound like. And I'm like, let me see. Let me see what you think. And I don't always agree with it. And that's okay. I'm not supposed to agree with it. But I let it do its thing. Okay. Like I take out little things. And that's my process. But anyway, we'll go over the Neutron next week. And it'll be a little bit more time. But just keep in mind, I'm going to stress ear training again, all 4 weeks. I'm going to stress for it because at the end of it, if you're with me the whole 4 weeks, I want you to be like, man, he's really talking about ear training. I wonder if it's that important. And I want you to know it's that important. That is the secret sauce, right? You might not have thought that you're going to get the secret sauce from this type of video, but it's the secret sauce. And I don't mind telling you because I'm not selling, how-to videos. I know not that I'm too good for that. It's just that's not my thing, right? So I'm not going to be selling how-to videos. I'm not going to be selling like, I may sell some plugins. I mean, if Waves want to hit me up, hey, I'll sell you a plugin. But I'm not really like, I'm a DJ. I make beats. That's what I do. And so I'm telling you the secret sauce because it's not going to hurt me to tell you that. It's going to help you, but it's not going to hurt me. And I don't mind that being the case. All right, you guys. It's your boy Mad Scientist what is this? Ooh, I know, huh? It is this is Mad Scientist on the all new Power 97.5 LA. Today we are just talking music, where we bring you the vital information about music production, promotion, and distribution. Every week, right here on the Odyssey Radio app. Do me a favor, go ahead and like and subscribe if you're looking at me on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Come on. You can do that, please. Um, follow me, then put on the notification so you know when I'm out here. On the YouTube, unfortunately, I don't have a schedule. I'll do it once a week, but you never know when, but that's okay. I haven't got to the point in terms of followers that you guys will miss me anyway. um, but anyway, share, let people know about me. I'm always getting followers, one or two a week. It's okay. I like it. I'll get up there. I'll get up there. And then, the ones who were with me from day one, you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, I remember when he used to like have no views. Now look at him. He's got like 10,000 views." um, yeah, so do all that. Those who listen to me on the radio, I'm on the Midday Madness show every day on Power 97.5 LA, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., right here on the Odyssey Radio app and also iHeartRadio. Okay. We're back on iHeartRadio. Yes, 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 y'all. We are back. And that's cool. I will see y'all next week. Talk to you next week. Good luck with everything. And I wish you guys the best. And I will see you at the top.